back to one of my chats with Shaz on my YouTube channel. Thank you for being with me today. I am in the World Heritage Site of the Matobo Hills, and today I'm going to be talking to John Burton from Matobo Rhino Trust. Hey,
Hi
John.
Shaz.
How's it
Hi.
going?
Good to be here with you today.
Yeah, great to be here.
Nice evening.
Yeah, we're going to have a great time. So let's go onto the vehicle and go and find some rhinos.
Yeah, let's do it.
So John is going to join us now on a ride and a drive through the Matopus and show us some rhinos. But John, in the beginning, how long has the trust actually been open for, and how did we start? I mean, I say we because I was involved with you in the beginning, but how did it all start, and how long has it been going?
Yeah, so from the year 2000, there was quite a lot of rhino poaching in the national park, and the numbers were reduced quite dramatically. And as a result of that, interested parties like yourself, Shaz, myself, and various others got together and formed the Matobo Rhino Trust in January 2013. We've been operating since then and raised money for a number of different projects within the park, purely surrounding rhino protection and saving the rhinos.
So when John talks about rhinos being here from time immemorial, you can see that by the rhino etchings and the actual paintings on the caves in this park. And that's when national parks, right, they started to introduce rhinos back in here, because that showed that there was rhinos here back in Gudala.
That's it, yeah. Shaz, basically, when it was first started as a national park in 1926, there were no rhinos. But it was because of the Bushman cave paintings, the illustrations of the rhino, that they assumed that the rhino had occurred here before. And so they introduced white rhino from South Africa and black rhino from northern Zimbabwe, the Zambezi Valley.
So one of the greatest feats of Matobo Rhino Trust was to raise close to $300,000 in the beginning, massive amount of money, to assist national parks in putting a ring fence around the Horvey side of the national park, right?
Yeah, that was one of our largest projects, and has been extremely successful. In the Horvey itself, which is an area in the southwestern part of the national park. Since the erection of the fence, no rhino have actually come out of that area, and there's only been one rhino poached since 2013. So it has been a great success.
Great success story. And what do you see as your vision now for the trust, John? What is it that you want to see as we go ahead into the future?
We've got a 5-year plan, which entails a number of projects which will give us a robust rhino security program. But we also feel that it's very important to have the tourism which brings in the income that can support the efforts on a self-sustaining type of format.
Yeah, that's so vital. So come to the Matopus, because this is where it's all happening with rhino.
Yeah, it's come to Matopus.
But John, you talk about rhino being up there, and I've often used your phraseology when you talk about rhinos being right up there with the likes of gorilla tracking, and how much you pay to go gorilla tracking, but how much actually goes back into rhino conservation when you're tracking rhino here. So it's pretty cheap, pretty much, inexpensive.
Yeah,
in
no
comparison.
Yeah, the black rhino is a critically endangered species, and the white rhino an endangered species. So you're basically walking through their natural habitat to go and see them. So that is a very unique and very special wildlife experience. So if you come here as a tourist, your tourist dollars go to national parks and get spread through the community in various ways. But you also have one of the top wildlife experiences that you can get on this planet. Okay, so we tracking the rhino, and we've come across some tracks. So the first thing is a rhino is a 3 toes, so there's one toe here, one toe over here, and then the front one. Obviously the front toe pointing in the direction of which it's going. And then generally by the size and the shape of the print, you can tell whether it's a black or a white rhino. So this is a white rhino that we're following. And then the key is this veining at the back, almost like a fingerprint. When you see the veining, that's an indication of how fresh it is. If you see the track without the veining, you don't follow because you're too late. But if you can see the veining like this, which is very clear, then you know that those are fresh tracks and the rhino are heading in that direction, so it shouldn't be long before we can find them.
So the Bronx fence that we will show you just now was particularly put there to because you can't cut it up into like snares, it's like boxes, and also so that it keeps the cattle out from the community but the rhinos inside. It's not going to really stop a charging rhino, but at least it stops the encroachment, right?
Yeah, that's right. The research shows that rhino, as a general rule, do not challenge a fence. So as long as they're not frightened or forced, if they're just walking along and they'll come to a fence, what they'll do is they'll turn down the fence, walk down for a little while, and then eventually give up and come back into the park. So the fencing is one of the key elements of rhino security within the Matobo National Park.
So John, explain to us, this was the major fence that we put up right in the beginning of the Horvey side of the national park. Explain to us about this Bronx fence.
Okay, the Bronx fencing, or field fencing as it's sometimes called, is the new way of game fencing, and it's primarily for wildlife. So it has two main benefits. One, there's not long strands of wire that can be cut and made into wire snares. And the second thing is it doesn't require droppers. A lot of the game fences that you used to see used to have those gum pole droppers. But in a fire, what happens is the fire burns through, all the droppers burn, and then the fence falls down.
Yeah.
So this needs metal stays every sort of 20 to 30 meters, and then as a general rule, it'll stay like that. And the thought is to have it at a height of approximately 1.2 or 1.8, which stops the animals like zebra, wildebeest, and particularly the rhino. But other animals that like to jump, like kudu and impala, for example, they can jump over the fence without injuring themselves. Okay, so we've been tracking and found these two white rhino. This is our initial approach. So their eyesight is not very good, so they can't see us so well, but their hearing and their sense of smell is acute. The wind is blowing towards us, so they can't smell, so they're relying mainly on their ears. You see their ears moving around all the time. So sometimes it's a good thing to actually talk or make very passive noises, because then they don't feel threatened and they settle down.
Walking up across these amazing animals, tell us what it does for you, who does this all the time as a guide as well.
Yeah, well, Sharon, I got my professional guide's license in 1995, so I've been doing it, I've been guiding for 26 years. And for me, this is still a very special experience. And the beauty about the Matopus is there's both black and white rhino within the national park. And the national parks of Matopus allow you to get out of the vehicle and walk. And that's a very unique and special experience. I just have to keep my eyes on the rhino.
Because she's coming closer.
Yeah. Most national parks that have got rhino are high security areas, and they don't allow you out of the vehicle, so you can view the rhino if you're lucky from a vehicle, but to actually get out and track them on foot and to be able to get in close proximity to them like this is a very, very special experience.
So it might appear that you can just approach these animals and just happily just be with them on your own, but actually behind the scenes what we're not showing you is the scouts and the trackers who are armed, who are actually with these animals all the time, so they're giving them protection, and we have to approach them with these people so that they know that what we're doing is safe, that we're doing the right thing, right, John?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the anti-poaching is carried out mainly by national parks. They've got scouts that are very, very good at their job. They are deployed and they camp out at night, and then they get up early in the morning, they go and find the rhino, report them in. If any of the rhino are missing, they go and search for them and bring them back into the national park. And that's where the fencing thing comes into effect. But due to the efforts of the Matobo Rhino Trust, combined with the efforts of national parks and their anti-poaching team, the poaching in Matopus has been reduced dramatically. I think in the year 2012 they lost about 12 rhino just in that particular year. But since the Trust and National Parks have been operating together, there's only been 3 rhino that have been poached since 2012 to 2021. So we've reduced it from 12 a year down to 3 every 7 years, basically.
Fantastic effort. So this is something that, I mean, we don't get to do every day, even though we live out here, but it is breathtaking. And what I always want to do is shout out to those eco-warriors, the guys who are behind the scenes right now that we can't film, who are protecting these rhinos with their lives, and the work that they do, the mileage that they walk to chase them, to find them, and to herd them back into the areas where they should be. So yeah, heads up, and much applause to those guys who are behind the scenes. Hey, John. So John, we are here now at the entrance of Matobo National Park, where there is a community donation box and this whole community center. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, Shaz. As you know, one of the key areas of effort is to make sure that the community benefit and get involved in rhino conservation in the national park. Representatives from each of the wards gather here once a month. The community have got a key, Matobo Rhino Trust have got a key, and national parks have got a key. So no one can actually enter the pot without the others. So we gather once a month, we open up the pot, and we take whatever donations that have been made. Those donations are then given over to the community, who actually, because of this venture, formed the Kamalo Community Trust. They then sit together as a community and decide how they're going to spend the money, either drilling boreholes, equipping clinics, or providing desks for the schools and that sort of thing.
So thank you for following us today, and if you like what we do and what we say, please follow us on our Instagram pages, our website, our YouTube channel, and Facebook, the Amalinda Safari Collection. Thank you. Thanks, John.
Thanks a lot, Chaz. That was great.
Cool.